Manhattan man has been arrested after punching a 55-year-old Asian woman in the face and knocking her out in New York City's Chinatown. The incident occurred around 6:18 p.m. on Monday the 31st of May at 65 Bayard Street in South Manhattan. As the woman was walking down the street, 48-year-old Alexander Wright, who was approaching in the opposite direction, randomly punched her in the face and caused her to fall to the ground. The unprovoked attack was captured on camera. A handful of people gathered around the unconscious woman as the attacker walked away. The woman was taken to the Presbyterian Lower Manhattan Hospital, where she remains in a stable condition. The identity of the victim has remained anonymous. Shortly after the attack, Alexander was arrested just a few blocks away. He was charged with 1 count of assault as a hate crime and criminal possession of a controlled substance. He was taken to the Bellevue Hospital for a psychological evaluation. Alexander lives in a nearby shelter and has been previously arrested a staggering 40 times. 8 of those arrests were in the last year for randomly assaulting people and setting fires. At 9:50 a.m. on the 18th of May, at Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan, a 48-year-old Asian man named Yu Ya Hua was repeatedly punched in the face by a male who approached him and yelled, "Go back to your country." He then bit 2 of the victim's fingers, causing the tip of his middle finger to be severed. The authorities said there was no dispute or interaction between the suspect and the victim prior to the assault. At 7:30 a.m. on the 20th of May, police identified and located the suspect as 38-year-old Lloyd Revel at the nearby Skyline Hotel on 10th Avenue. It's a place where homeless people have been staying during the pandemic, and they took him into police custody. Prior to the attack, Lloyd had a criminal history of at least 3 previous assault charges, being in 2015, 2019, and 2020, and he was on probation at the time of the attack. Yuya, who's an Uber driver, was hospitalised and lost the top quarter of his digit. He was also treated for cuts to his forehead and bruising and swelling to his eye. Yuya said that when he tried to grab Lloyd after being punched to hand him over to the police, but that's when Lloyd bit him on the hand. During his arraignment later that day, Lloyd claimed that he began arguing with Yuya because he kept calling his name and he chomped on his fingers in self-defense. Lloyd has been charged with assault as a hate crime in the 1st and 2nd degree, which carries a sentence of up to 8 years in prison. Judge Zhongzu Wang set Lloyd's bail at $25,000 cash. 21-year-old Cohen Hans Barron was arrested on Wednesday for the quadruple homicide of his girlfriend and her 3 young children that were found murdered in their Fort Wayne, Indiana home. The incident occurred on the 2nd of June when authorities arrived at the 2904 Gay Street address at 10:45 a.m. after responding to reports of an unknown problem according to police logs. As they entered the residence, they discovered the lifeless, bloody bodies of 4 victims, all with their throats brutally slit open. The 3 children died from multiple stab wounds, while the mother died from strangulation and stab wounds. The body of the mother, Sarah Nicole Zent, 26, was found kneeling beside a bed, while the children Carter 5, Ashton 3, and Aubrey 2 were discovered beside her lying face down in pools of their own blood. The horrifying discovery prompted a manhunt for Cohen, as he was identified as the primary suspect after being spotted fleeing the scene in a stolen black 2010 Ford pickup. Surveillance footage obtained from the crime scene, as well as witnesses, confirmed that Cohen had been at his girlfriend's residence. He was captured leaving the home at around 6 a.m. that morning. No other person was seen entering or leaving the house until police arrived. After he left the house, Cohen went to see his mother, whom he hadn't seen for 2 years. He told her that he'd been shot in the stomach and asked her for duct tape and money. His mother described him as frenzied and talking crazy, which scared her, so she asked him to leave her home. It was reported that Cohen rang her earlier that morning at 12:30 a.m. to wish her a happy birthday. Cohen was arrested later that day at 4:45 p.m. after being tracked down using digital intelligence to an apartment complex located at the 500 block of Gordon Court in Lafayette. He was found inside the premises with a knife that had bloodstains on it. A medical exam revealed that he had multiple scratches on his neck, jaw and wrist, seemingly inflicted by a person's fingernails. However, he did not have a gunshot wound as he claimed to his mother. Sarah's credit card, along with a set of stolen car keys, was also recovered in his possession. Cohen already had a warrant out for his arrest on a parole violation for a previous conviction. He's held at the Allen County Jail in Fort Wayne and he's charged with 4 counts of murder.